Ruffian shook his head.
There's a bandit hideout not far from here. Your brother was there, but he escaped with 3 other men.
Fascinating,
Lila said.
So where do you think he's headed now?
These tracks are cut in a very straight line from the bandit castle. These guys are heading very specifically to the Orphan Wastes, Mount Batwing. Now stop asking questions. My throat is starting to hurt from all this talking.
Lila lifted her head, shocked by the realization that suddenly dawned on her.
Ruffian,
She said in an urgency in her voice.
you need to turn your horse around.
Why are you addressing me by my first name?
The bounty hunter groaned.
Don't you kids have any...
Ruffian, listen to me. You're never going to be able to bring my brother back to Briar Rose, because very soon, my brother's going to be dead. He's on his way to fight a witch who will very likely kill him.
Ruffian remained silent, his expression downcast.
It's the only thing that makes sense.
Lila said.
Why else would he be going to Mount Batwing? He must have heard about the kidnapped bards, and he's trying to save them. That's exactly what Liam would do. But if the witch is as dangerous as Ella says, Liam has no idea what he's about to go up against.
Am I supposed to know what you're talking about?
Ruffian grumbled. Lila filled the bounty hunter in on everything she'd learned from Ella.
You've got to turn around right now and go back to Avondale, Ruffian. You know it.
Lila said.
Briar Rose wants to marry Liam. She's not going to be happy if he's dead. This is the only way to avoid her wrath and possibly still earn her pay.
Lila hated the idea of alerting Briar Rose to her brother's whereabouts, but seeing him in her clutches would be far preferable to seeing him toasted into a piece of charcoal.
I just can't get a break,
Ruffian said with a long, slow exhale. Lila saw a tear run along the deep creases of the bounty hunter's weather-worn face. He turned his horse around.
You're lucky I know a shortcut.
The exhausted quartet of princes staggered onto the cobblestone main street of Flargstad. Cozy, thatched-roofed cottages lined the narrow avenues of the town, with colorful flower gardens in front. Children chased one another in giggly games of tag. Cuddling couples sat on carved wooden benches, enjoying the clear blue sky.
This place is adorable.
Duncan gasped.
Yes,
Said Frederick.
I think I can handle this.
Gustav started laughing.
What's so funny?
I can see better now.
Gustav said.
And you all look terrible.
And as they passed one of the quaint little houses, a villager emerged. A crook-backed old man, carrying a bucket of food scraps. Several cats darted out from under bushes and meowed at his feet.
Patience, patience, my little whiskered ones.
The old man chuckled.
I've got some tidbits for you.
He stopped when he caught sight of the princess.
My goodness, what happened to you, young men?
Liam stepped to the front of the group.
Hello, kind sir.
He said.
We've traveled a long and difficult way. We could use a place to clean up and get some rest. Would you be able to lend a hand?
Of course,
The man said.
Please, use my house as you wish. I'll ask my wife to make some hot tea for you all.
Thank you.
Liam said.
Oh, it's no trouble at all.
The man said.
The people of Flargstad take pride in offering kindness to any stranger who happens upon our town, be he beggar or be he prince.
Lucky for us, huh?
Duncan said cheerily.
Since we happen to be princes.
A sudden panic overcame Liam. The last thing he wanted was for these villagers to know who the 4 princes really were. Luckily, the old man laughed, assuming Duncan's comment to be a joke. The princes looked like they'd just crawled out of a sewer. But Duncan kept right on going.
No, really, we're princes. And famous ones, too.
Duncan insisted, and he put his hand on Liam's shoulder.
This man right here is Prince Liam of Arinthia, but you might know him better as Prince Charming.
Charming, eh?
The old man said, and he curled his lip in disgust.
You're the Prince Charming from Arinthia. I heard about your wicked deeds just the other day. You're the scoundrel who dumped poor Sleeping Beauty.
Dumped? What? No. Charming is the hero of that story. The hero!
Liam said, shocked and confused.
He has nothing to do with that guy from Arinthia.
Nice try. But someone as awful as you can't hide behind an assumed name.
The wrinkled old man scoffed.
We all know who you really are.
Who do you mean by all?
Liam asked. His gut felt like it was turning inside out.
Everyone.
The old villager said.
The minstrels might have no new songs, but they haven't been quiet either. They have given us the news about you. News that comes straight from that lovely Sleeping Beauty herself, Briar Rose of Avondale. Honestly, I don't know how you live with yourself after you pelted such a sweet girl with pumpkin innards, and you painted a mustache on her mother.
Since Briar Rose's rant about Liam didn't rhyme and wasn't set to music, people had a hard time remembering exactly how it went. Almost every minstrel around was telling a slightly different version of it. And when their listeners decided to retell the tale to friends and neighbors, details tended to change even more, always for the worse.
You did that?
Duncan asked aghast.
No, of course not.
Liam protested.
Mustache on her mother? What is that even talking about? Look, sir, everything you've heard about me is a lie. I dumped that girl because she's awful.
I'll show you a good dumping.
And the old man scowled and proceeded to overturn his bucket of garbage directly onto Liam's head. The other princes gasped.
Now get out of my sight.
The man snarled.
And take your ugly henchman with you.
Gustav stepped forward.
Henchman?
He scowled.
I am your prince, foolish man. I am Gustav of Sturmhagen, and you will treat me with respect I deserve for my subjects.
Oh, really? And what respect do you deserve?
The old man snickered. He cupped his hands around his mouth and shouted out to his neighbors.
Hey, everybody look! Who we have here? It's our little Prince Gustav, who doesn't even know how to rescue a maiden. And guess who he's with? The brute from Arinthia, who dunked Sleeping Beauty in a barrel of pickles.
Barrel pickles? Are you insane?
Liam cried. A crowd started to gather around the princes.
Hey, he's right. It's that useless Gustav. Why can't he be more like his 16 brothers?
I'd love to give that Prince Charming a good smack for what he did to Sleeping Beauty.
Look at how tiny that other guy's cape is.
Hey, everybody! They're friends with the Mudman.
Liam looked to the other princes.
Let's go, shall we?
The four of them fought their way through the mob of people and ran as fast as they could, farther into town.
Well, I always wanted to connect the real me with the Prince Charming in the story.
Liam huffed as they ran. The princes zigzagged around corners, scrambled behind houses, and darted down narrow alleyways until they were sure they'd lost the mob.
Wasn't it daytime just a minute ago?
Frederick asked. The princes surveyed their surroundings. They stood in a part of town that bore no resemblance whatsoever to the quaint and colorful Flogstart they'd just seen. The buildings on this side of the village were dark, with boarded-up windows. The cobblestone streets ran thick with slimy green sewage. Rats skittered along the gutters. Even the sunlight had vanished.
I can't even manage to get us a little rest without something going wrong.
Liam muttered.
Look up ahead.
Duncan pointed toward a rather sketchy-looking tavern at the dead end of a dead-end street. The princes approached.
The Stumpy Boarhound.
Read Duncan.
Not a great name for an eating establishment. What is a boarhound anyway? Some kind of pig? Some kind of dog?
Either way, it sounds ugly.
Frederick said, peering through a smudgy window.
I don't like the look of the customers. They seem a little rough around the edges.
Where else are we going to go?
Liam asked. He opened the door and entered the stumpy boarhound, which you knew he would do, because you read the prologue.